parks and our advocacy, and it brought great things for us. And there's some other people who are kind of new and might need a little bit more information about what these parks are and what stages we're in. I am the administrator for North Brooklyn Parks for New York City's Parks Department, and I'm also the executive director of the Open Space Alliance, or OSA. My job is to help build parks and improve the parks that we have, and OSA is a nonprofit that works to supplement the Parks Department's work. So, next. OSA covers 120 parks in North Brooklyn. Excuse me, we do cover 120 parks in North Brooklyn. Playgrounds, green streets, and it's about 350 acres. And today I just want to give you a quick update on some of the developments along the waterfront, as well as some of the Southside parks, and of course McCarran. Next, Julia. So Bushwick Inlet Park. This was promised to us with our rezoning, and over the long term, it's envisioned to be 28 acres of athletic fields, lawn area, beach area, a boathouse even, performance space near the industrial center of our neighborhood, gardens, the dog run, and that much more. There are each of these different blocks is separately owned, and they're in different phases of acquisition and development. So for the first parcel, we have already opened up the soccer field, and if you've been by, you can see that the construction has already started for shoreline access and also for this award-winning green building. The structure on the top is a shade structure that has photovoltaic. It's a photovoltaic shade structure which powers the building. It's a living green roof. The circles on top of the roof are actually playgrounds. And I'm excited about the ribbon cutting that we will be having next year. Yes?
I forgot to say something, which is that I posted a copy of that letter on Facebook. I didn't bring it tonight. So
Great.
anybody can
Thank you.
get it on Facebook wants to see the letter from the supposedly mayor, but from Commissioner Kennedy.
Thank you. Thank you. The next lot is city storage that has not been acquired by the city. The lot pictured here between North 11th and North 12th was acquired by the city. It's been through the first round of environmental testing. We will be doing additional environmental testing this fall, and we hope to be in remediation in the fall of 2012. In the foreground, you see Motiva property. It's a very thin strip of land that surrounds the inlet itself and underneath the water. That has not been acquired by the administration. However, Bayside Fuel, which is about a block and a half, 2 blocks, in what has been a very challenging fiscal climate, the administration demonstrated its commitment to creating this park by last year signing a deal to acquire this land over 5 years. The funding is in the budget. Further up, we have Transmitter Park, where a fishing pier, bird gardens, and a children's playground are being constructed. And as you can see on the pictures on the left, and we are seeking a concessionaire for the building to do the renovations there. And this is another ribbon cutting that we will be having in 2012. Newtown Barge Park. We have $4 million in the budget to expand this park to the waterfront. And the adjacent property owner's lease expires in 2012. We can switch. Right across from Barge Park, we have Greenpoint Playground. And as you can see from the photo on the bottom left, the excavation has been done, utilities have been run so that we can open up a new comfort station there. And it's being fabricated right now, actually in the Navy Yard, and that's another opening that we will have in 2012. The MTA lot. The MTA agreed that it would move to MassPeth this year, and the city right now is doing a more detailed planning and feasibility study about that move. This is actually a huge success for our community. all of our electeds who stood together to demand that the MTA move so that we can turn their parking lot into a park for our community. And I'm delighted that Borough President Marty Markowitz, after OSA had lobbied him, allocated $400,000 so that we could turn what's basically a cracked asphalt lot into a garden on the south side. And at our last community committee meeting, a number of people said that Cooper Park needed to be improved. Councilmember Diana Reyna was in attendance and allocated more than $2 million to have the Cooper Park renovated. We've been through a bilingual planning session and we will be presenting plans for that renovation in the fall. McCarran, one of the big things, and I should also, while we're thanking our electeds, Councilmember Levin's office is in attendance, but another big thing that came out of last year's community committee meeting is the need to have the pathways in McCarran upgraded and improved. Councilmember Levin then allocated $700,000 to do that. We're going into bidding for that contract in the fall. One of the big things that OSA is working on in McCarran is to actually expand McCarran. And we're doing that by funding a study, the demapping and the Euler process to turn the roadway, Union, into parkland. So in addition to lobbying our electeds, applying for foundation funding, overseeing parks development in partnership with the Parks Department, OSA also works with our community groups to assist them and facilitate with their projects. And I think that the McCarran tennis court renovations is a good example of that last year, as well as the work that's being done by McCarran Dog Run in improving the drainage. They were both very high priority projects that were identified last year's community committee meeting. We're also planting gardens, and one of the big things that we're doing throughout the district parks, throughout 120 of them, is to supplement the Parks Department's efforts for maintenance and operations. We're faced with difficult choices. I said to parks workers last week, why are the leaves in McGolrick not being picked up? And they said to me, because we have a choice. We don't have enough garbage bags for this week. We don't get another allotment for another month. We can pick up the leaves or we can buy garbage bags, at which point Julia wrote out a check for garbage bags from OSA. This is a recurring thing that OSA does, which is whether it's buying weed whacker string, whether it's buying garbage cans, whether it's buying tools to repair bench slats that are broken. And this is a big part of what OSA does. Oh, and I should also mention, we also fund not just the supplies, but the workers themselves. Parks Department, everybody gets to take either Saturday off or Sunday off. So what happens is the times where there's peak usage in the park, we have half the staffing for Parks Department. So OSA has hired maintenance workers, and not only do they help clean during the peak usage times, but it also means that they can keep the comfort stations in McCarran open later, which was, again, one of the high priority requests that came out of last year's ComCon meeting. And on end note, I am delighted that next year we can all dive into McCarran Park Pool together. So, thank you. Does anybody have any questions?